Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I'll move to our trade screen here. So, as people join, I'll just want to kind of recap things. We had this big sell-off on CPI, which ended up turning out to be more of a opportunity to buy the dip. And a lot of people may have been confused about today's price action, but we were able to anticipate this and profit from this I wouldn't say light. It was probably a likely outcome given the setup across the market, and people that were members that had joined knew what to do, kind of had an idea of what to expect. And now we got this bounce, and now you got this massive, looks like an inverse head and shoulders looking thing, ready to maybe explode out of this pattern within even a larger degree of consolidation. It's actually perfect ingredients for a real explosive blow off top. And as you know, if divergence gets erased, this could get even crazier. And a lot of people are confused. Why would the market go up with all this bad stuff happening in the world, tariffs and everything else? And the reason could be just a liquidity-driven market where it's essentially inflationary. And sometimes stocks could go up for the wrong reasons, and sometimes it could be just maybe this is more of an inflationary crisis, something that will scare people, into assets, anything priced in dollar as the dollar goes down, inflationary, and then maybe something very deflationary happens here to like reset the expectation. But this is, I think, some kind of inflationary melt up situation. I mean, if you really think about the indices and go back in time, and many of you may not even been alive, but if you go back, in the 80s and 90s, and here we had essentially inflationary melt-ups in all the risk assets. Then the earnings growth eventually followed. But I believe if you chart the SPY in gold or in for and adjust for inflation, it isn't as impressive as a gain as it seems here. And in fact, we actually measure inflation very different now. We've changed the way we measure inflation, so it's kind of a perverted metric that doesn't really accurately reflect the real rate that may be reflected in our markets. And also, we don't know if we're even getting the truth. And I think the Doge group, Musk, will eventually get to the BLS. And maybe we've been being lied to all along about these things to goose the markets for the politicians in charge, Republican and Democrat. But we'll see how this goes. But for right now, we don't worry about the news, and this is why you can't, because you can't figure it out. You're not going to be able to outsmart the market. It's not a chess game that you're going to win. You won't win it because you just can't outthink all these other interplay and dynamics. And if you follow people that think they can, they need to show some intellectual honesty and be humble and be humble. I do know that we are toward the end of the cycle because we do see a lot of we're making fun of bear posts out there, and a lot of posts about making fun of bears in your face, that type of stuff, or garbage accounts that never post have to post something nasty about the other side of the market. That's usually the top. We saw that in 2021, by the way, guys, and that was something I was mentioning back in 21, way back here. We got a lot of posts, and that's when you know the sentiment is too far. They're not humble enough, so the market will humble those people, and the bears will have their day coming soon. The bears will have their day, and this if we get this kind of blow off final pulse higher, then really it could end at any moment once this three really sets itself up. So the market to me doesn't seem like it will extend much more. Uh, I mean, I don't know how more euphoric we can get from even where we are now, and it needs a really healthy sentiment reset. I mean, we never really got that here. We started to get that here, but then the buy the dip came in. So we need that, and we could easily revisit this level down here or lower, and maybe as low as 480. And this move can happen very quickly. So we need to be prepared for that. So is it smart to take profit? You should. Someone asked, when do I take profit? When do you take profit? Okay, well, it's pretty simple. When do you take profit? First, what's your time frame? And two, what's your entry? But you should always take partial profit as soon as you really get the move and get a reaction. And usually a reaction is, half of the decline from the peak is retraced, or some people like a little more, a break of the high, but you should take at least something off the table, and then you move your stop loss to your entry or the last known point. So here, you could have had your stop here, but now with this reaction, our stop loss will be moved up to the entry here, and then with some profit, then you have a zero risk position, and then you should just let it run. And then at some point we'll get some kind of little flash crash here in 4, and then you're like, okay, as we build off that low, we'll take the rest off, and that's it. Now, if your time frame is longer, if you got in longer, you just hold through all of this, and you hold through all of it. So it really depends on your situation, your personal goals, but it's always wise to take some profit because you don't want it to go all the way back down and you have nothing to show for it. A lot of people made money on BBAI. Well, it'd be nice to have something in your bank account and not lose it. What if it retraces and comes back down? These stocks can do that, and then you have no money. So you have to take something off the table. The other thing to think about is if you're in a long-term position, you have a great entry and you're just holding, then maybe you take profit when a better opportunity comes along, a better setup, and then this setup's kind of exhausted. You see it's not as exciting. You're not getting the 3 action anymore, but you see a new 3-wave grand super cycle decline in a great growth stock or stock you really love, and we see, then you just rotate into that and you take the money and move it into something else, and you can do that, which is essentially what the big players are always doing, rotating from sector to sector. The other is you could sell your laggards. So like if you have a big run, let's say we get this big reaction and we're trading up here. Sometimes the stocks you bought when the market was here, if they're underperforming the SPY or they're even in the red or you didn't get a big reaction, you should dump them. Maybe you'll take a small profit. Maybe, for example, you bought a stock down here. Let's say you bought like Pepsi. The market trades up to 628. Pepsi's up 1%. Nothing. No movement, no nothing. Well, okay, I'll just take that little bit of profit because obviously when this decline comes, it's probably going to bring it down too, right? It's the whole market. So that's another way. Sell your laggards and let your growth engines run. So that's another strategy. So I like to trim positions that aren't moving or not moving fast enough compared to my other positions because I only have so much money and I can only buy so many things. I can't buy everything. So you have to say no to some trades. So I say no to the trades that aren't moving. So we'll get out of those quickly, and that may be taking a small profit because the other ones are just moving so fast. We want to stay in them and give them room to run. All right, let's go to your super chats, guys. And like I said, I always answer super chats for anybody that wants to follow BTU. Yeah, let's go to BTU real quick. So that's commodity play on coal. And we have been patient with BTU on our channel. We have waited, not FOMO'd in. We don't FOMO in on our channel. And we're waiting for our pitch, our setup. I gotta find it here. There it is. So it's getting close to the buy area, but we're also very disciplined. We don't chase it. So it's very close. Now, one thing you got to keep in mind, you see the first leg, big three waves, big three waves. We don't see that here. So this is the right level, but what it tells me a couple things. Could we still be in a connector? Boom, and we whipsaw around down. Or will we bounce here, which it should probably bounce, and will that bounce fail? Maybe. And we'll get something like, and we go lower to this wave 4 area, $8. So I've seen a lot of charts. I look at a lot of charts. There's no guarantee this will happen. The shape of the wave isn't really rigid, is no rule. It's just kind of nice to see it. The level with the divergence is the rule, really. And it's not, I don't see like a big wipeout wave like we saw here on the weekly. We want to see this daily really push down. So I guess what I'm trying to say is don't be surprised if it goes lower and it goes down to this $12 area. And don't be surprised if, yes, it bounces and then it fails again. So I think you have to play the long game on BTU. If you're looking for a nice little day trade BBI pump, you're probably not going to get it in this. You're probably not just going to get something like that. That's probably not going to happen with this. But if you have the longer term horizon, you buy a little here, it bounces, maybe you sell some, let some ride, you come back down, you buy some more. You just let it chop around. And then, as a long-term investor, you'll be fine. You're going to be fine. But short-term, it's not really, I don't see it as like a day trader's, like, this thing's going to just pump and V-bottom. It could, but this would be the first area to start to go long. And then you'll have to decide, by how much you want to put in. You get the reaction, how much you want to sell, if any. You have to decide all those things. But because it could very well still be the low. And I'm just showing you the first entry. This is the first entry. And we've waited a long time for this box to get hit, or this area. We did not FOMO in anywhere here. All right, good luck on that. CTSH. It's an AI play. Okay, let's look at that. Something we must have looked at before. So we were calling the wave 3 of 3 breakout on that. Okay. So everything is going according to plan. There's really not much to say about it. It's just stay long. Now, does that mean I want to just go buy it here? No, you can't. You miss you in my system you miss the entry. Now, there's other people that love to chase wave 3s. I call them the momentum chasers. They're the breakout traders. They're the guys on stock twits looking for what's moving for the day, and they just pile in blindly, and they make money and they leave. There could be a trade in like that coming up here. There's other people that like to use, oh, it's over the moving average by so much, so we'll go long. They're all looking for wave 3s, right? There's all these systems, and that's what I see about to happen with this stock. That's what I see is about to happen. So, but we have to break this high first. We have to break this high. Because there's always a risk of a double correction. But I don't think there is, and that's why there's no buy setup. So that's why the momentum chasers always can get tangled up in those flats, those pesky little flats. And a flat is a very simple pattern where you come up and you break the high and you go all the way back down real quick, only to see it move back much higher in the future, and typically a V bottom. So you can't rule that out either, which is why we don't chase it here, because we don't have a good enough entry to withstand that. Now, if we bought it down here, you could see that coming, and then we can dump it and get a lot of profit still. But that's why the system my system protects you from being destroyed in flats. If you're following systems that is just like go long on breakouts, go long on this is over the moving average, go long because it's moving higher fast, you put yourself at risk for flats. And there's history is littered of traders going broke, losing all their money in a flat. There's tons. That's what happened to trade desk investors today. Trade desk was a flat. We saw it based on the shape of the wave. That was the only reason. That was the only clue that we had of the calamity that awaited investors today. But we sidestepped that. And then we saw a potential short setup. Someone on this live stream one day asked about it, and we gave it. It worked out. My point is, flats destroy momentum traders. Okay, flats will destroy you. And you buy a breakout, you put yourself at risk of the flat annihilating your position, taking all your call money away. So you have to respect that. So just know that maybe 9 out of 10 are right, but if you get that 10 out of 10, you lose everything. And so if you want a momentum chase, you got to have small bets spread over many things. And when something isn't turning against, you got to just get rid of it. But we don't do that on this on my channel. Okay, enough of that. Just trying to give some education. Okay, let's go to another member. I go to members first, but I will get to everybody's. Read, Rumble. Don't hear much about them these days, right? They were kind of in the mix. Let's see how this is shaping out. So we were looking for a 3. So we are looking for the breakout. So it looks like, here we saw this. Did we get this lower? We got this lower low situation. But it did erase divergence. So you have to call the correction in. So we never got a good entry to go long it. So it was kind of one of those where there was no setup, there was no entry for us. It could have been, but there wasn't. But the path still played out, and now you're probably finished this wave 3 here, right? It's got to be wave 3, and now you're in a fourth wave. So the fourth wave should give you an opportunity. And if you look how deep this is already corrected, it really has to hold that low. So you really have to put the 4 in here. Put the 5 in here. And then you have a 1, 2 here. Okay. So, and then this is nice 3-wave price action. So today could have been a long opportunity on this with a very shallow stop. Look at the fractal; almost looks like the same fractal, but this one failed, right? The other one didn't fail. So because it failed, it gave us a setup. So now you have a buy opportunity down at wave 2. It never did that, so we had no buy. So here you have a buy opportunity right here. Trying to play this 5th wave, but I would definitely have a stop at 10, like $10.09, $10 somewhere around there. And see if you get this 5th wave. Now, what happens if you don't get the 5th wave? Well, then you only have 3 up. And 3 up is a corrective move. Then this is a corrective move. So you have 3, 3. And that would open us up for a bear market to probably go back and revisit these lows. So that's the count I see. But I'm willing, given how bullish things are, and we didn't break this high. That would have been very good. But I think we're in a 5th wave, and well, I guess we'll know tomorrow how it reacts off this low here. Okay, XRP. Again, XRP. We're not going to get caught up in XRP with trying to get too fancy with the labeling, right? You may follow Elliott Wave folks that could spend an hour trying to label the chart so perfect and oh this and that, and they get so caught up in the labeling and all this crap. We don't when it's a chart like this, we're just like we don't want to get too bent out of shape about the label, and we know the general shape of the wave and where it's got to go. So the best strategy, I think, on Ripple, and it's what we did down here. Again, when we were trading down here, it was tricky to label this corrective pattern. It was very tricky. So the best strategy I think I gave is you just buy the support and you wait and you wait and you wait. And you don't care what is the label, what is this, an A and a B, is it a C? We don't, at some point you can't get caught up in all that technical minutia, or you just buy support because you knew you're going to get a bigger move. This move was coming. So we're not going to get all that. We're just going to buy support and then wait and wait and wait and wait. And finally we got the move. And now it's the same situation. So I think in this situation, because again, you're in the same kind of X type, you're going to have to just buy support and wait. Buy support. Support is here in this area. Maybe we should move this up a little bit higher. You buy support and you got to wait. That's the only advice I can give you, because I can label this way too many different ways. It could double connect in that. It could do so many things. But for now, we'll just leave it here. But if it goes into support, you buy it. If it goes higher, you should have already been long. If it goes lower, you buy it, and you just wait, and at some point, you hit this $4.80, $5 mark, and more than likely it's over. The move is over, and you go trade something else, because it's going to create a big correction. It should create a big pullback. That should take maybe years to play out, years. And you don't have years to wait. We'll come back to it later. But that's how I look at XRP, guys. So this is why my channel's a little different. And I know some Elliott Wave people that hate when I say that, because they're like they're like, it's like sacrilegious to say that. They almost believe it as scripture, like it's holy scripture, the Elliott Wave guidelines. And it's not like the Bible or Quran. It's not this like end all be all. It's a guideline. It's guidelines. It's guidelines. And that's why I say I cut through the fluff, guys. I'm cutting through the fluff and just telling you how it is. But we do use it to help us understand the market. But we're not like it. We're not like, it's not like a biblical thing that we're devout followers, and we're overly orthodox in our belief, and we can't. We don't. You could. There's other services that charge a lot more than me that will do that for you. If that's the type of thing you're interested in, if you're interested in making money, managing risk, trade ideas, I'm the person you follow. Okay. So let's go back to my next. I see if I got any more member super chats. If not, I'll go into the next one. Obed, KSS. Coles. Okay, that's a good one. I want to see if I have that on my hold on one second here. Let's add that. Do I have a retail? I think I need to create a retail basket. Let's take a look. Kind of ugly chart, but ugly charts create opportunity, right? We like ugly charts because that's opportunity. Looks like a big lead-in diagonal here of some kind. Right? And then essentially a crash correction. And maybe I could put it there and it was a flat, whatever. And then you have a 1 and some kind of 2. And of course you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 off that low. So that was, if you look at it here, now you see this is a mess. Now the thing is, we could still be in 2. Could this be a big 5th wave? I doubt it. See, yeah, it's no divergence. So this is 3 waves down. It looks like 5 waves up. And we did take out the peak. So this is a very aggressive view of the situation, and it doesn't meet all the criteria that I like to tell, hey, this is a great trade setup, but I could see it potentially working out for people in some kind of three-wave move off of this peak. And there's the buy area right there. So could this be a major low? It very well could be. I guess I'd say it has to be, because if this low breaks, it's a kind of what I call a go to zero chart. So if you're an investor, this has to be defended at all costs. This low at 819. So if you believe in this company, if you really want to think it's got good things, that it's not the next JC Penney's, right? It could be the next JC Penney's, and this shit is gonna go to zero, right? But if you don't believe that, you should. This is where you would step up and buy it right here. But it doesn't have the right. It doesn't meet my my setup. Like I wouldn't recommend this one. But I mean, this is where what it would look like, and this will has to hold. So since you're asking me, this is kind of what the chart I would go with. And if it does work out, this should be pretty some pretty rapid gains if it works out. So very speculative position. I mean, I was in Kohl's the other day. It was pretty busy. I mean, I'll be honest, it was pretty busy. I was surprised. I mean, as I was saying, the market's got a lot of liquidity out there. I mean, I know people are hurting. There's a lot of people hurting out there, but there's a lot of people that are making a lot of money too. I mean, think of all the people making money in the stock market, guys, that are just long-only investors. They're looking at their balance sheets, and I mean, wait till they start selling and getting cash out and start buying things. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'll just say that Kohl's looks something like this, and y'all have to decide on your own if you're a believer in the company, the CEO, the chart. This is the time to pick it up. If you think it's the next JCPenney's, then this will break and it will be a go to zero situation. And if you look, if you're a long-term investor, you're almost trading at prices it was in 1998. If you're a buy and hold investor, you've adjusted for inflation, lost money, right? I don't think it even pays a dividend, so you lost money. You don't even get a dividend out of it. So I mean, but could you get a vertical thing, or is this like a 1990s vertical, like Moon Boy market for consumer discretionary? I don't know if it's that bullish. I mean, yeah, people got money to spend, sure, but I don't know if it's that bullish. I think also, you've got the tariff thing out there and costs going up and stuff. So I don't know. Hard for me to see a retailer mooning, given the fundamental backdrop, but we don't use that. So I would just say there's the chart, and you'll have to decide how you want to play it. Okay. Next is let's go to my next. I'll get to SSBG in a minute. I always go to my my membership first. And thank you for signing up, Obed. And if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, I apologize for that. But thanks for signing up. I think it's the best $5 you'll spend, and you probably can go in there already and see some trade ideas that are already working out for people. Okay, Tim, let's look at the hour. I don't even know hour. Hour does not is not. I'm not familiar with it. Not familiar with that company. All right. So charts like this, what we typically do is just trade with the trend, because it's just one, not enough data. Two, the company may have been doing something different back then, and it's changed substantially. Maybe its own business. So we always just trade with the trend. So we have to go to some shorter time frames. So the first thing we look for is there divergence, and we don't really see any. So that typically indicates it's some kind of three-wave move. Some kind of three-wave move, some kind of connector here. and it's done. Three-way moves are dangerous because three-way moves are corrective, which means the trend could be lower, which means it may not recover. So we don't want to label it. We don't want to assume it's just going to keep going higher. So what I call this area is a no man's land area. It's a 50-50 area because the market hasn't shown its hand. If is it going to try to push up and double correct higher, or is it going to continue the trend lower? It's stuck in the middle. So it's really a no. It's a very much a no trade spot. It's a very 50-50 play the roulette wheel at Las Vegas type setup. But you also see there's only three waves down. So you really have three, three. It could easily do another three down, just like you saw here. It just revert split. So there's no clue that really jumps out at me. Here, you have a big spike, and now you're about to break this low. So I think right now the best strategy is wait. If it breaks this low, you're moving bearish. It's breaking down. It's breaking down, and that means this is some kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with a move higher, and then a 1, 2, and this down 1, 2, and you'll get 3, 4, 5. That's that setup. Now, if it could recover here, take out this high, well, that should open you up for a retest to 351. You take out this high, then now you're talking. Now you're talking the fives, and then you may be able to take out this high. So but right here, you just don't have a good setup, to try to trade this. It's really a very difficult chart to trade. It's not something I'm particularly would trade in my system. I would be on the sidelines. I would trade other things that have much clearer setups. But this is what I would do. Since you're giving me the super chat, I'll just say this is how I would label it, and then you'll have to decide. Do what's best for you, and I always say that. So that's probably A. And then you'll have to decide what's best for you. So we'll see if that plays out, something like that. That's what I'm thinking. Good luck on that. Okay, Mike. Okay, I figured it out. Did you have, I can't get the payment hookup. Oh, let me look at your question. LAES, okay. Seals Corporation. Oh, is RxRx breaking out? Cool. I hadn't looked at that yet. But we had a strategy around how to trade that one. Okay, so that looks like 5 down, right? I mean, but looks can be deceiving. Let's take a look. See, it looks more deceiving. You see how it bottomed out here with no divergence. So this is actually a corrective move. Again, a lot of LA wave folks would just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but it's really not. It's a 3-wave move. It's just hard to see. It's hard to see it, but that's what this is. It's like that, and it's 3, and then 3. So that's an important low, 276. Off this low, looks like 5 with a big extended 5th wave. But let's look at the RSI to see if that confirms it, and it does. You see that divergence? You see that? That's a big extended 5th wave. Anytime you see a 5th wave, usually the market takes the 5th wave back. That's what happens to late joiners of the market, okay? Let's say the norm, what I see in these charts, and I stare at them, when they correct, the wave 5 is always disappears, almost always disappears. So if you join in a trade late and you're in wave 5, just know you're on borrowed time, because when the correction comes, you should lose the whole wave. And only the investors that got in down here could survive it. If they're a long investor. So now we're trying to build off the lows. So it has to hold, and I think there's no reason to say it's going to go lower. I think you just start to build off this high. You start to build an impulse off this high, and it could double correct and maybe give you another entry. That's a retest, but it's still 290. So if it doesn't go higher, if it were to just drop right now, 293 with a stop at 276 would be the entry here to try to play that wave 3 of 3. If it doesn't, it goes higher, you may have to move the target higher, so it could easily fail again and do that. But then your target goes higher. You see what I'm saying? And that's how it is. But this is on such a short time frame. It could also be already finished here. We have to go to a 15-minute view. Yeah, maybe it's finished. So it may not double correct. It could still do this or even that. But since it's 3 down, it may already be finished. It may already be finished. It comes out. You can ignore the degrees. I'll go back and, you get it. Technically it's probably intermediate. You get the idea. Okay, so you get the idea. So there it is. That's it. So that's how I would look at it. That's your important level. Should build off of that high. And if you're lucky, it's a wave 3 or it's a 3-wave move and then it goes into the abyss. So it does something like that is what you're hoping for. And then once that 3rd wave is done, then it could do a couple things. It could either go all the way back down into a whole new bear market, or it could make a 4 and a 5, which is what you hope for. Alrighty. So I got Mike's, I got Tim's, and I will get to everybody's. Tim, another one here, USD JPY. So USD JPY morphed into a different type of correction. We were having it more as like an ABC type, but it's morphed into a WXY, which is fine. But again, there was no trade. This is just Elliott wave labeling, just to kind of keep track of things. But if this is the right labeling, we're looking for that, which is this head and shoulders. Now, I would say this could be risk off, right? This could be risk off, a sell-off, right? But it doesn't have to be. And we've seen it, we've been going down strength in the end, but the market's been going, grinding up higher and higher. So that's why you can't use these market dynamics. It's not like a foolproof strategy. If it was, we'd create an algorithm, a bot to do that trade, and do the correlation, and we'll all be billionaires if it was just that easy. So it's not just a correlation, but it helps us like maybe think things through. Because yen strength can mean panic in the market too. If the yen comes down here, that's probably some kind of panic. So maybe what we get is this is kind of noise if this pulls back, and then we get another bounce. Even bigger. But this gets you to the all-time highs, to the 640 SPY type, and then this is, oh no, what just happened? The rug pull in the market. Maybe that's how it's going to play out. We don't know how the corrective nature is going to play out. Now, if we could take out 158.74.3, well, that changes everything, because then that's going to generate yen weakness, and yen weakness tends to be the opposite, tends to really help the market, which is what it's been doing. Yen strength sometimes hurts, sometimes helps, but yen weakness almost always helps, if that makes sense. I don't think we see a lot of crashes in the market with the yen weakening. I mean, it can happen, I guess, but usually that doesn't happen. So I'm just saying that I don't like trading it here. But if it does drop here, well, yeah, then I want to short. I guess you're betting on weak Japanese yen or going long this pair. But here, there's really nothing. Nothing is just kind of keeping an eye on it. We're just keeping an eye on it. Alrighty. Let's go back. Some of the other super chats I skipped over. Just kind of go back. So the first one is to 20 buck one. Thank you for the big super chat, man. SSBG. Can you please take a look at, okay, the quantum stock RGTI, TM, some popular stocks there for sure. Okay. So I was actually meaning to take a peek at the quantum stocks for my elite members, just to kind of check in on them, because we don't want to lose sight of them, right? But I worry about this stock in some of the quantum stocks that they're in big ass connector waves. I just don't want to FOMO in this situation. But let's take another look. I mean, again, we'll keep you know this is an impulse down, I believe. Yeah. So could it be a flat and the 5 is here? It doesn't seem like it. I mean, not to me. Now, off this low, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like 5. Whoops, I'll go back. Sorry about that. With we have to go to a higher time frame. See, no divergence. So it's not really 5 waves. See, it's a little tricky. It looks like 5, but it's really 3 in disguise. So it's probably an A, B. Let's just take a look at it. 1, 2, 3, connector, 1, 2, 3. So this is a corrective move. It's not impulsive. It's corrective, which is kind of expected given the ABC down. So what that means is we could have a whole another leg lower coming, which would then set up a buy opportunity. Okay, if it happens, and then that's where my alerts go out to my members. But here is like it's in this connector area. Could it continue to chop around here? Sure. It could also do. It looks like you have another 3 waves here of some kind. It could also double correct higher again and do something like that. And then it could have a horrible crash like that. And then do this. So it could easily do that, but we just don't have a good clue other than maybe the market direction could bring it higher. Maybe there's a clue it could double correct higher. If it does, you'd have to hold this low. So the play would be you have to hold 1085. You would market buy it here. Market buy. Have a stop at 1085 and see if you get the double hot out of this. And then you could dump it. That's really the only setup. But obviously if you break this, then it's probably going to collapse down. So I think that's kind of how I look at it and how I'd trade it if I was really attached to it for some reason. But given, if the market's going to push higher, Russell and all that, maybe we're all going to get that double correction higher after all. But we'll have to wait and see if that plays out, and you guys can decide what's best for you. All right, TEM. And this is the Nancy Pelosi pump. I believe I posted something about it pumping and then dropping a connector wave on everyone. Let's see here. My target when this news came out, I was like $60 was my target. We're higher than that, which is okay, and it looks impulsive, which it should be because it's an ABC. So this connector wave could be very extended, and you'll have to decide how you want to play that. Again, to me, there's no like trade setup. There's no good there's no good level here. So we do have looks like some kind of 5 off the low here. Let's see here. So you see how we must have analyzed this earlier on our channel. But here we have a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we actually have 3 up too. We don't even have an impulse, and you can't put 3 there. And we took that out. So this is some kind of trap type move, I think. moving in three waves. So looking at the front end again of this, maybe we could look at it like this, where it's a W, and then you have some kind of X, and maybe we're in Y. That's probably what we're doing. So maybe we'll get more. Yeah, let's go with that. We'll get more upside and Y. Now, can I rule out that we're in X? We can't rule it out completely, but I think that's probably what's going to happen, is my guess. And then you'll have to decide what you want to do with it. I mean, there's really no good trade, but if it is this, you need to erase divergence. This needs to come up and take all the peaks out. If it can, once it does that, then it's pretty much a done move in this three-wave cycle. And then it finishes W, and then it comes a big pullback, and we do it all over again. So, you know, something that's probably what we're going to do. So I think it has more upside. It has more upside to erase that divergence. I think that's what we're in. We're in some kind of move like that because of the front end. See, with the front end, that's how I would look at it now. All right. Entry price. There really is no good entry price. I mean, this is something I wouldn't really enter. But if you really just need to trade it, I would just say that the best entry. Let's look at our cycles. The 4-hour cycle, bottomed, crossed over, at that divergence. I don't like that. You're kind of buying the top here. You're kind of buying the top. I mean, here I'll give you a possible setup if you're, and again, it's not ideal. But the good thing is, if you look at this, it looks like it's 5 off this low here. So I'll give you a very aggressive setup to day trade this. It's not something I'd recommend, but if you wanna try it, 71.87, 71.31. If it takes a dip back down here into this area, put your stop. I mean, you could have your stop here, but if you really want to make sure you give your trade some room to breathe, you put your stop at 68. And then maybe you could play for that upside in that little bit of this blow-off situation. And what you're trying to play for is the C leg, if we get a C leg down. That's what you're hoping for. There's your wave 4, $70. So that's the like it's a very aggressive trade setup. And I don't know, maybe we should take it. What the hell, right? I mean, you're not risking a lot, but I think you're at the end of the move, so I don't know. I guess we just don't know the future, but I think this is the only setup I see for an entry. If you just have to trade it, and then you could see it, but it doesn't meet a lot of my criteria that I like. This has got to be close to the end of the move. It's got to be. So you're probably playing for that 5th wave. See that? So that's what you're playing for, that 5th wave. So it gets you to like 83, 85. If it's a 5th wave. Now, if you win the, if your number comes up at the casino, this is a 1-2 and it moons, and we all look like, well, you're a genius. So I think this is it. That's a trade setup on TEM for those who need to trade it or want to, have to. You could try that, and I wish you the best. Do what's best for you. All right, DPST. DPST. Did I answer your question about entry price on this one? Just want to make sure. I think, yeah, the entry is market buy, stop at 1085. All right, on that. And then DPST, what is that? Regional bank bull shares. Oh, so it's like a leverage fund on the Russell kind of. Is it regional banks make up a lot of the Russell index? Okay, that's not good. See how we broke that low? Um, some kind of, let's see, 5 up here, and then you go 3 down, but you break that low. Yeah, some kind of, you're in some kind of connector. So this is an ugly, again, another hard chart to draw up for Elliott wave practitioners. I mean, I'm just gonna kind of sketch it out. One possibility, and then this is down in 3, so that's not gonna work. A lot of divergence there, so we're gonna call this an ABC. Again, I'm just trying to trace this out here. Could it be that? That's very bullish. That's too bullish, right? That's a moon boy market. That's moon boy, guys. If that something like that happens, I can't rule it out because it's 3 down off that low. So yeah, I mean, could we still be in B? Could we come back down? I mean, you have 3 down here, right? We have 3 down here. That's 3. And that's 3 from that high. So it's very hard to trade these kind of structures, but I mean, if I look at this, we could still be chopping around in B. It could still do something like this. I think this is kind of what I'm going to go with. I think I'll go with something like this only because it lines up with the market forecast that I have on the market, where essentially we go up a little more, we come back down hard, but then we have a big wave 5 higher, which should be a really nice melt up. And if we do that, if that plays out, then this should do something like a little bit higher from where it is now, right? A little bit higher, another drop, and then a big pump, and then the end of the grand super cycle, the indices, what the bears dream about, and it goes into the abyss. So I think that's what I'm thinking. But this is not an easy chart to predict or even guess. And I don't follow the regional banks enough to know how this will play out. But I think something like that is what I'm thinking. And I can't tell you how high it's going to go. See, it may already be done here. It could even be done here. So you have 3, a connector, and 3. So it's in the middle here. So it's in this indecisive area. So if it can break 177, very bullish for regional banks. Because you'll get a whole nother wave higher to 234, 267. But it has to break this high. And if it doesn't, there's a possibility it's in here. And then we get something like this. A little bit higher. And then it's just a wipeout. So you're not going to really figure much out with this chart. I hope I said some interesting things. Is there an entry here? If you want to You see that divergence? Again, I don't know if I'd recommend buying it, but if you have to buy it, you have to buy it against this low at $93. But I don't. It's just not something I would even say a level because I just can't think of buying it. Maybe you could buy it like that. So maybe here's a better idea. Maybe the better idea is to try to pick it up at 60.42 and play a bounce there if it wants to do that, and then do something like this and then bounce. And if you're lucky, it bounces up here, and if you're not lucky, at least bounces, and then it can, you know, drop again, and you can at least get something. So I probably wouldn't even entertain it here. But if it were to just decide to sell off back down here, well then maybe there's some a bounce play here, and then it bounces, and then the market has to make a decision: higher or lower. And I think it just depends where the indices are trading when that happens. Okay. YNN is, again, it's another one that it's one of those you have to wait for the right setup. There's really not a good entry. We did do YAN earlier. Let me see what that is. Hold on. All right, let's see here. YNN here. Let's see here. We had this charted. So again, same situation. We could see a whipsaw around. I did show this setup that there is a possibility it's already finished, making its push. That's very bullish for China, by the way, if that happens. So I think the best setup for YNN is not to chase it here. I mean, I know momentum chasers just can't help themselves, and they'll have their system to do it. But I think the best strategy is to look for something like this and hope to get that. Or if it's wrong, if that doesn't happen, and we're already here, well, we should get a three-wave move with a pullback and go long there. Which means you have to not FOMO, not be paid. So there's no setup. And again, like this to me is like just like, you know, irrelevant noise. Like I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. I'll just wait. There'll be opportunity by China, I'm sure, in the future. It just doesn't see. I don't see it now. So maybe it gets rejected here at 40. And then on that rejection, you get a nice three-wave move down, and maybe you can speculate and try to buy that, hoping for the big pump. But it could easily still make it down, so that's why I don't want to trade it. Because it could easily fail and then go lower. But I think you got more upside in the short term. Looks like, again, we need a fifth wave. It looks like it's missing a fifth wave. And something like this. I mean, that's what it looks like it's missing, something like that. We'll wait and see. I don't have trade in China. And if you're new to following me, this doesn't mean short it. This doesn't mean it's going to have, there's no trade idea in my system for this stock. This is not recommended to any of my members to buy or sell. It's anything China related right now. But again, people are interested in it because it's moving. And it's like a momentum trade. And they're slapping each other on the back that they got it. But you got to understand, it can easily rug pull and be a calamity given where we are in the correction. So sure, it feels good, but it could easily reverse, and we all know the news out there that can make that happen, right? I mean, the tariff wars, China takes Taiwan. Like, you don't know the big black swans. That China's at the epicenter of a lot of them. What if one of those hit tonight? We don't control the world, little news. What chart's going to play out? Do you think this chart's going to play out? No, it's probably going to be this one. And then all the people that FOMO'd in here, they'll be with a loss. YNN may be down more than 33%. I mean, you just got to be really careful, like chasing these types of stocks in these connectors without a clean setup. You just have to be careful. We've had opportunities to buy China on my channel, and I always give them when I see them. Again, we called the low in China way back on my channel, by the way, down here. We caught that low, almost the day of the low, by the way. I think YNN was up almost like 60% in one day. And of course, we caught that low right here. See, people following me. Now we had a setup right here. You see that? So the setups come and go in China. And when they come, we get on it. And then when they go away, we leave it. Because again, these are meaningless letters to me. HSI could be ZZB. It's a meaningless symbol, but I keep an eye on it. And when it shows a setup, then we get, let's take a look at China. But right now, I'm still showing this kind of setup. And then if we get this pullback, that's your opportunity. If you want to take the long, if you really want to do that. Okay, thanks for all the super chats. Let's just kind of go through. Winston, I appreciate signing up. Thank you so much. I will go to One Road, Tilray and Reddit. Tilray and Reddit. Yeah, Tilray, I told you guys to watch out for that capitulation situation. I warned people who watched me and followed me about that. Tilray we'll see some glory, but the fractal nature of the market tells you what has to happen in Tilray, and that's why it's doing what it's doing. I really think the opportunity in Tilray comes, unfortunately, when the market pukes at the peak. Now, I don't think you get it here. I think the best way to trade Tilray is you got to wait, because this is how it worked in 2020 sell-off. You have to wait for this wave. And then when we're down here, you go buy some Tilray, because I think that will pump big. I think it will pump big. But I think it's going to get I think when this wave happens, I think all the growth stocks you're all talking about are going to get annihilated. All going to be annihilated. So you got to understand, when this wave comes, a lot of that growth stuff, the AI, the quant, like I think a lot of those are going to be annihilated. Is just my thinking. But it creates a massive opportunity, because I do see another big wave coming higher, which many people, not a lot, but some people are calling for that. Some people are calling Moonboy, the market's just going to be in a bull market forever. I mean, there are people still calling that, but I think the market, to me, can't. This will be like a crash to a lot of people. And trust me, it's going to feel like a crash. It could even go down to 480. So I'm telling you guys, when this happens, people won't know what hit them. But I do think there's actually another high out of this structure, because if you just look, you have 1, you have 2. Where's your 4? You don't have a 4. I mean, you don't really have a 4. You don't have a monthly cycle, correct? Like, you don't have a 4. You just don't. You just don't. Okay, so that's the reason. That's the reason. And this is a cycle. See, this is cycle. It finished low. It reset the whole thing. 4 here, and this is a whole new wave. This is a wave, because look where this low is compared to this peak. It did take it out. So this is a wave. We need a 4 and a 5. It's too extended. It's not a flat. It's too long for a flat. It's not an A, B, C. It's none of that. It's a wave 3, clearly, that should come to an end. And wave 3s usually come to an end with an epic blow off type move. They always do. They did in 2017. And then when it's done, a big Volmageddon event. And then it's buyable from another high. Then I think the grand super cycle is at risk for collapse, and this could usher in a bear market for potentially years. What does that mean? There's nothing to buy. There'll always be something to buy. We'll have to find the next what asset class, probably be commodities and other things like that that will move. But that's what I'm think we're gonna see. All right. So anyway, so that's why I mentioned Tilray, but Tilray is not really anything I would be interested in buying until that wave October cycle resets. Reddit is one. If you were a member, you knew what was about to happen in Reddit because we had the top in, we had the top in here. We ran out of waves, and sure enough, I think on earnings it drops, right? So I think Reddit may be at a major peak. And again, we always lose the whole wave five typically, so this whole wave should be lost. So we should see 140s, 160s. But do I like to buy it? Definitely. I want to buy it, but I want to see a nice three wave structure to buy it. We'll need a connector wave, so we're gonna have to be patient. We may have to wait months and months and months like we do on my channel, but hopefully we'll get an opportunity to go long. But it looks like that kind of move, the top is in, like we had on our count on Reddit. Okay, thanks again, Ronaldo. Yeah, happy to see your progress. It's your first channel. Remember your profile was a dog. Yeah, I mean, there's some early subscribers, and these guys can tell you. I was screaming in December 21 to sell this market. I was screaming. I remember saying, and they can tell you in the chat, I'm not bullshitting you guys. I was saying every growth stock and tech stock you love and cherish and hold and cuddle at night is going, effing down. It's going down. Yeah, that's what happened. Look what happened to Meta and everything. I mean, I was screaming at the top of my lungs, guys, but I didn't have enough followers to really hear it. But there are a few on here that avoided all that. But I mean, yeah, that was my channel, and you're like, well, I don't want to see those videos. Well, what happened with my channel was when I called the bottom in the tech, I called the bottom on the trend line break on tech. We waited for the trend line break. Trend line break happened. Called long. I was telling people go long and go long, and I started getting people very angry. I received a lot of death threats, nasty comments, like horrible stuff, and I was just afraid like it's just not worth it because I mean I wasn't that into it's more of a hobby for me and if people don't want that so I think what it was I was giving people were probably like big accounts were like, hey dude, you're giving the answers to the test. We don't want people to know the buy tech because we need to reaccumulate, and you're telling people. So I triggered some people like that did not want you guys that follow, to start buying tech because we were saying buy tech, and I think we got into tech, and then it bounced hard. I took a lot of profit, man. I mean, I made a lot of money, but hindsight maybe took profit too early. But hey, taking profit is good. And then we got back in the market at the end of December. The indices, but we were trading individual stocks throughout that. But the indices, and then we rode through it, and then you had a lot of idiots saying short back in March last year. And again, I was like, stay long. And then we were long the market all the way into July, and then I saw the train wreck coming in the volatility, and we were like, get out. I put a lot of posts, get out, get out. And we were out about 3 or 4 days before the big volatility event, the yen carry trade. We missed the whole thing. So we kept all our gains from that point on. And then since then, we've just been trading individual stocks on my channel. And I know when we get this bigger pullback, we'll be able to get back on the indices and really good positions, probably lower than when we left the market in July. So on the indices, and today also was a good day trade. So there's been day trades, but I'm just telling you how my channel has worked since you, for new people out there just listening to me. But yeah, the early times was crazy because people didn't know what was going on. But we learned a lot about the market too. The market has changed, and we are more aware of these expanded flats. The market really threw a lot of those at us in the correction, so we're going to be ready for those. All right, let's keep going with any super chats. I got a Tesla one. Yeah, Tesla was a good setup for us. People that were pro and elite level knew when to buy it, what to do, had the levels, trade was filled, and we're in the green. We're in the green now. This reaction, it's not strong enough to call the correction over though. Okay, so let me tell you that much. So there could be a second chance entry for those who missed this move. There is a possibility for another dip down in a fifth wave. Okay, it's not likely if the market is going to push higher. I mean, anything's possible. Anything's possible. But if it does want to dip back down in the fifth wave, it's just another opportunity to reaccumulate. I still like to buy it here. Now, if that's the low, obviously it won't break that. It will just come back down and do something like that. So that's so we don't have that. But if we could come back and retake 347, then I think the low's in for sure. So we don't have definitive proof the low is in, but that's a really good reaction so far. So far so good. But even if we do push down, I'm looking for a fifth wave and just a reaccumulation area, and we'll just have to wait and see what the next several days bring. But if you're new to me, you know, we had this warning here, sell it, or I didn't give a short, but I was like, hey, this is this breakdown here, don't buy. We said don't buy, boom. Now we're talking, let's get long. Now we've done well with Tesla. We had buys here, we had a buy here, we had a buy here, we had a buy here, and we also traded through TSLL through this whole pump. So we've done very well on Tesla as our channel. We do very well with Tesla, so hopefully we keep the record intact. And if this works out, this is a wave 2. We have broke this high. That should open us up for more upside. Should get to this $700 level. Could even see $1,000 potentially. So just keep that in mind. I was trying to look for fractals as well to give us clues on what Tesla does on kind of these breakouts of highs, like what to expect, and I couldn't really find any good fractals. But let's just take a look together and see if something sticks out. So looking for so here you had some kind of consolidation. You had a breakout here, and you fell, and then you came right out. You see how you broke this high right here, and you had a big pullback, and then it was just supported and went right out. So that's something. That's a fractal. Here you just kind of broke it and went vertical, so it's a very different setup. Let's look at this situation way back in its early days. Now this one we had a break of the consolidation, and this one took a much bigger detour, but it was you know, it led us to massive gains. So I think, could something like that play out? It's possible, but I think it's I don't think it has enough energy left to go any lower without a bigger bounce. So we'll have to wait and see. So I don't think this fractal. So I didn't find a good fractal that we could kind of give us a clue. But as you can see, it really loves to move quickly to the upside. When it moves fast. And typically, when it has crash corrections, it usually has vertical bounces. So very erratic, but always grinding higher. So good luck on that. Okay, so I think I covered everything, all the super chats, and I looked at all the comments. I'm curious at RxRx. Let's just look at that real quick and see how that's doing today. Oh, okay, yeah, it's starting to move. Starting to move out of this mess. Could this be a BBAI in creation? Maybe. Just the first target here. We'll see. Viking, here's the thing with Viking. It's a big box. It's so big, so you have to be very strategic with your money management. You have to be very strategic with your money management. Hey, Winston, thank you for joining. I appreciate that. Uh, hasn't hit my target yet, but you got to be very strategic because it can go much lower. So if you're looking for a pump in Viking, I don't think that's the right place to look for a pump. I think that's for a long-term investment opportunity. If you're looking for that, the odds are really against you. But if you're looking for long-term investment, that's the place to do it. But as you know, some stocks go to zero. What if their product fails clinical trials? Goodbye, Viking. So just money management is key on that one. But this is the level. This is the setup. You have to do what's best for you and play it how you want to play it. But we knew not to buy in this mess. So the good thing is we're not upside down if you're going to buy it because we didn't buy. We knew all this was going to happen and we saw the gap. We know all this. So all that mess, we didn't get caught up in all that mess. So we're in a position of strength if we want to come in and buy it. And we're provided exit liquidity for a lot of people that just can't take the pain anymore. And we're helping them out. We'll take, but I mean, like I said, I think the thing about it is you have to have the longer term picture in mind, and you have to understand that the box is big, and you have to add in slowly. Now, if it pumps right away, that's a great surprise, and we'll look like geniuses, but it may not happen like that. Okay, I think I covered everybody's questions. I got through everything today. Thanks for watching. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. And I'll just say that for tomorrow's price action, if we break out, if we want to break out, be a big move higher. Big move higher, potentially. I'm not sure why, unless it's just again, liquidity and maybe no news, just short squeeze type action. But anyway, good luck. Good luck. Hopefully you picked up some longs in this little bit of volatility, or you have some positions. But understand the market. If this plays out, again, it could always extend. It could always erase divergence. That's why we're not going to try to short the top. Way to play this will be buy volatility. Buy volatility. We'll buy volatility. Because what the hell? Why not, right? But this is the ticking time bomb in the market, because when this wave comes, I don't think it's going to be, and again, I could be wrong. I don't think it's going to be this nice, gentle, 3 waves and a bounce, and it's like I don't think it's. I think this is going to be like a quick pullback that people will think, oh, it's just another dip to buy. Get it, and then something like that. Maybe even in one trading day. So good luck. So that's what I'm saying. Just be really careful. If you just got to manage your money and risk in this area. I'm just telling you guys, you got to be really careful here. You have to be really careful here. If you're not, you're careless. You just got to be careful. So good luck. All right, guys, that's all I got. Let me just make sure I got everybody's, and I think I did. If I missed someone, just send me a Twitter DM, and I'll get back to it. All right, guys.